Hello everyone, this is Bryant. In this video, you're going to learn about open source based infrastructure as code, shortly known as IAC. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching and let's get started. First, I want to tell you a little story about DevOps and how it got all started. Let's take a look around the technology industry today. Everyone talks about DevOps this and cloud that. But the challenge around managing server and infrastructure resource definitely has not been an easy problem to solve. If you roll out change for just one server, this is probably not too difficult. But how would you apply change for tens or for hundreds of servers? Many teams still practice manual deployment of an infrastructure resource to the cloud. And this practice often increases the likelihood of the failure for each new update and create tough situations to recover from if something fails. So how do we solve this problem? This is where DevOps comes in. DevOps to the rescue! Yeah. Wait, what is DevOps anyway? Isn't this just a bloody term? Let's take a look. DevOps can mean multiple different things. DevOps means a cultural transformation, meaning every engineer feels productive and agile. DevOps can also mean reaching the frequent deployments while also achieving stability at the same time. To enable the automation, the most important part of DevOps is probably the creation of a value stream. To address this, many people often consider using a pipeline like Jenkins or GitHub Actions. At the same time, the modern DevOps ecosystem has been experiencing the rapid growth of a relatively new space called infrastructure as a code, shortly known as IAC. At this point, it'd be a good idea to take a look at our main topic of this video, IAC, or infrastructure as a code. IAC, or infrastructure as code, is a process of managing and provisioning computer data centers through machine-readable definition files, rather than physical hardware configuration or interactive configuration tools. Although the area of IAC is relatively new compared to DevOps automation pipeline, there are already so many IAC tools out there, and new technologies are getting developed even as of this moment. And I'm glad to say that most of them are open source space projects. In this video, I want to introduce some of the most notable and widely used IAC tools based on open source licenses. But before getting further, here are a few acronyms that you might want to know. First one is agent versus agentless. IAC tool may require to run an agent on each server that you want to configure. If it does not, it is known as agentless. Mutable versus immutable. Some tools like Terraform do not modify already provisioned infrastructure but deploy new server. And this means they follow immutable infrastructure paradigm. Other tools like Ansible, Chef, Saltstack, and Puppet can modify the existing resources, and this means these tools follow mutable infrastructure paradigm. Procedural versus declarative. Procedural languages like Ansible and Chef let you write code in step-by-step ways, while declarative languages like Terraform, saltstack, and Puppet let you just specify the desired state. Master versus masterless. Languages like Chef require you to learn a separate per master server to introduce some additional governance and persistent states. Other languages like Ansible and Terraform do not require you to install a separate master server. Configuration versus provisioning. Ansible, Puppet, Chef, and saltstack are known as configuration management tools, meaning that their main purpose is to configure the resources. Other tools like terraform and pulumi are provisioning tools, meaning that their main purpose is to provision resources. However, as these resources plug in, get deployed, and developed, there can be some overlaps. Let's look at various open source IAC tools that we are going to cover in this video. Here's a table that shows all the open source IAC tools that we're going to talk about in this video. Again, this is nothing meant to be a comprehensive list of all the open source IAC tools out there, but some of the most notable and the popular ones. First one in our list is Ansible. Supported by Red Hat, Ansible is an open source software provisioning, configuration management, and application deployment tool enabling infrastructure as code. Its main syntax for configuration files is YAML, and the license is GPL 3.0 at the moment, and you can find the website and the GitHub repo here. Second one in our list is Terraform. Terraform is an open source infrastructure as a code software tool created by HashiCorp. It is known as a declarative, agentless, and masterless provisioning tool. Its main syntax for configuration file is TF file, but is similar to JSON. It's based on the Mozilla Public License 2.0, and you can find the links to its website and the GitHub repo. And the third one is Chef. Chef automates the process of managing configurations, ensuring that every system is configured correctly and consistently. Its main configuration file is based on Ruby. It's licensed based on Apache 2.0, and you can find the links to its website and GitHub repo here. Next, we have a Puppet. Puppet is a software configuration management tool which includes its own declarative language to describe system configuration. Its main configuration file format is based on the Puppet language, very similar to JSON, or you can use Ruby. It's licensed based on Apache 2.0, and you can find the links to its website and GitHub repo here. Then we have a saltstack. Supported by VMware, saltstack is a Python-based open source software for the event-driven IT automation, remote task execution, and configuration management. Its main configuration file is based on Python and is licensed Apache 2.0, and you can find the links to its website and then GitHub repo here. Lastly in our list is Pulumi. Pulumi's open source infrastructure as a code SDK enables you to create, deploy, and manage infrastructure on any cloud using your own favorite languages. You can use different programming languages like JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, etc. etc. It's based on Apache 2.0 license, and you can find the links to its website and GitHub repo here. So now, without further ado, let's get started. First one is Ansible. Ansible is probably the most popular IAC tool in this list, and it is a configuration management tool based on GPL 3.0 license. You can find its source code in the following GitHub repository. Ansible is a configuration management tool, meaning that it is designed to install and to manage softwares and state on existing server, and it adopts mutable infrastructure and procedural language while sticking to masterless server and agentless state. Among these features, two most notable features of Ansible are first, agentless, and second, masterless. For example, you can simply use SSH key to connect with each server that you want to configure, and this process makes infrastructure management really easy. Ansible later extended its capability to perform the provisioning capability as well, which somewhat overlaps Terraform's and Pulumi's main purpose. Ansible configuration files are based on YAML format, which is a meta text file based on indentation. Here's a sample YAML file that prints out a hello Ansible debug message in Ansible. Ansible has over 51,000 commits and 5,000 contributors its main GitHub repo as of this video creation. With that much actively ongoing contribution to its open source, you know Ansible is a good IAC tool to start with. Next one in our list is Terraform. Terraform is a Mozilla public license MPL 2.0 based open source tool created by HashiCorp, and its main purpose is provisioning tool, meaning you can deploy infrastructure resources to cloud server like AWS, Azure, and GCP. Terraform's configuration files has its own file extension called .tf, but it is based on JSON file syntax. Terraform is declarative, masterless, and agentless provisioning tool that supports immutable infrastructure. A simple Terraform script that install an EC2 instance on AWS might look like the following. As you can notice, Terraform's declarative syntax is super simple and clean, which is one reason why many people prefer Terraform to provision infrastructure, though they may still use Ansible, Puppet, or other configuration management tools to configure resources later. Invented in 2014, Terraform is the second youngest IAC tool among this group, where the youngest one being Pulumi. As of this video publication, Terraform still did not achieve GA, meaning the general availability version yet, with its latest version being 0.15.4. However, Terraform is still widely popular, and the tool has huge community support and activities. At the time of this video, there are over 28,000 commits and over 1,500 contributors. You can find its GitHub at the following link. Next, we have a chef. Don't get confused chef with the cooking term. Chef is another configuration management tool that is also quite popular among enterprises. Unlike Terraform or Ansible, Chef requires to install master server and running agents on the server that you want to operate. Having the master and agent can have a few benefits. For example, a master server can be the central place where one can manage and monitor the entire infrastructure, and also a place where it offers continuous configuration update. Having agent can make sure the update can run properly. However, requiring agents in master server also require to have an extra maintenance and be more vulnerable to security leaks. When you choose an IAC tool to start with, you have to make sure which tool best fits for your situation. Chef configuration file is based on Ruby programming language, which can give you flexibility if you want to try some extra control logic. A simple hello chef script may look like this. Chef is based on Apache 2.0 open source license, and you can find its source code in the following GitHub repository. As of now, there are over 30,000 commits and 651 contributors to Chef repository. We are getting very close. Next one is Puppet. Puppet is a software configuration management tool that has a declarative syntax while requiring to have a master server and agents. Puppet is an open source tool based on Apache 2.0 license. The Puppet program language is declarative language that describes the state of a computer system in terms of resources, which represent underlying network and operating system constructs. The user assembles resource into manifest that describe desired state of the system. Puppet's configuration file follows JSON schema they may look like below. The open source code of Puppet has over 33,000 commits and 558 contributors. You can find Puppet's source code at the following GitHub link. Next, we have a saltstack. Saltstack, also known just as a Salt, is Python-based open source software for event-driven IT automation, remote task execution, and configuration management. The backbone of a Salt is a remote execution engine, which creates high-speed, secure, and bidirectional communication net for groups of systems. On top of this communication system, Salt provides extremely fast, flexible, and easy-to-use configuration management system called the Salt State. You have to also get familiar with the Salt terms like grains, pillars, and mine. Luckily, you can find this information through Salt's extensive documentation site. Salt is an open source project based on Apache 2.0 license. GitHub page shows over 111,000 commits and over 2,000 contributors. You can find Salt GitHub page at the following URL. Last but not least, we have Pulumi. Pulumi is open source infrastructure as a code tool for creating, deploying, and managing cloud infrastructure. Although Pulumi is the youngest tool among this list, the tool has been gaining enormous popularity lately. The most unique aspect about this tool is that you can write configuration code in any of the following program languages: Python, TypeScript, JavaScript, C#, or Go. For example, to create a new S3 bucket in AWS, you can write Pulumi code in Python like this. But you can also write Pulumi code in JavaScript like this. Because Pulumi can be configured in various program languages, this feature can have a few benefits. First, Pulumi may require less learning curve for the programmers and coders who are already familiar with the particular program language. Compared to other IAC tools, which require you to write configuration code in YAML or JSON, this can be a significant advantage. Second, since a modern program language like Python, JavaScript, and C# already has a conditional statement, iteration and loops, and functions and methods, it is easy to embed some advanced functionalities around Pulumi codes. However, Pulumi is not without challenges. First, because Pulumi is built around program languages, this can result in some additional overheads and bad practice when one designs the configuration code to provision and to manage infrastructure. Second, Pulumi is a quite young IAC tool, meaning that there can be limited support and functionalities compared to other tools for quite some time. If you choose Pulumi to become your main choice of IAC, it should be good to learn pros and cons around the tools. Pulumi is based on Apache 2.0 license, and its file can be found in the following GitHub link. As of now, there are over 5,900 commits and 109 contributors. As you can see, there are many different IAC tools to provision and to manage infrastructure through the automated way, and this list probably does not cover every IAC tool out there. but it's a good start for sure, and IAC tool is definitely fun and then interesting to learn. That's it. I hope you like watching this video, and be sure to like it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting update and content on covering technologies like cloud, DevOps, coding, programming, etc. Thanks for watching again, and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.